Being a part of a fandom exposes you to many different kinds of generalized opinions. Some are good, possibly even great, while others are straight up terrible and need to be thrown into the ethers of space never to return. One such notion is the idea that Kubo's Arrancar Arc is a story rehash of the Soul Society arc. Now, I've heard this notion for many years, and if you're a Bleach fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Kubo is a terrible writer who could not unlock the true potential of Bleach, and basically reuses storyline tropes over and over again. And it's just all terrible. All of it, it's all bad. But instead of sitting in my little corner of the world and being mad about things I cannot control, I instead wish to take action. At the very least, I want to put the truth out there into the world. The Arrancar Arc is not a rehash of the Soul Society. Maybe if you look at it at a glance without stopping to think about it on a deeper level, sure, it's the same. But in this video, not only will I explain to you exactly why it's not the same, I'll expose certain hypocritical notions that are willfully ignorant to the shortcomings of their own favorite shows, but suddenly turn into Sherlock Holmes when it comes to Bleach. What is the myth? Just to make sure we're all clear on what the issue is, the myth in this instance is that in the Soul Society arc, Ichigo has to enter Soul Society in order to save a female friend of his, Rukia Kuchiki. And then, in the Arrancar arc, or specifically the Arrancar saga, Ichigo again has to break into Hueco Mundo in order to save a captured female friend, Orihime. Their argument is that Kubo was unable to properly follow up the amazing Soul Society arc and defaulted to repeating the plot in the hopes that he could catch lightning in a bottle twice. Let's just simmer on this first part alone. According to these individuals, Kubo rehashing a storyline premise is indicative of his lack of writing aptitude. Now, of course, I don't believe this, but I'll humor them for a second. The first mistake they are making here is accusing Kubo of repeating arcs when, even if you accept that he repeated arcs, it only happened once. The Full Ring arc and the final arc are all different from the Soul Society arc, so what we're really critiquing him on is repeating an arc once. I'm pointing this out because they make it look like Kubo did this constantly, when in reality, even if you were to take their side, it happened only once. Second point, depending on the type of story you're reading, if you generalize enough and dumb down the story elements to its most basic levels, you will be able to accuse authors of repeating story arc templates. I could do this right now. One Piece, the famous story of the indomitable Goda. If you wanted to be a prick, and you shouldn't want to be a prick, but if you wanted to, you could accuse Oda of reusing arc templates. Find an island, go to said island. First bit of the arc is heavy on exploration and lack of seriousness as our crew makes friends with the people on the island. They then find out that said island has an oppressor who is unjustly ruling over the population. Luffy ends up having a personal grudge against said oppressor because of his treatment of the island, which Luffy now considers an ally. Luffy usually loses the first fight, regroups, Straw Hats get separated only to reunite, game plan, attack, and Luffy defeats the oppressor, freeing the people. Amidst all of this, there will be some important One Piece component that they discover on the island to help further their overarching plot of the series. You see? I can do it too. Now mind you, I don't actually think this about Oda. I'm just letting you know that what others do to Kubo can be done to other shows if you generalize enough. Alabasta, Skypiea, Thriller Bark, Fishman Island, Dressrosa, and Wano all follow this template, but no one critiques Oda for it and instead berates Kubo who only did it once. Again, I'm saying Kubo did it once just to humor the accusation. I don't actually believe it counts anyway. So now that you know the general issue at hand, allow me to tackle this myth directly. And in order to accomplish this, I'll walk you through a series of thought processes that will answer the question that is being asked. Okay? Alright, let's begin. Aizen Sosuke is a member of the Gotei 13, and he's plotting to overthrow society as we see it in order to achieve his own ambitious goal. Okay, cool. So the man is chilling in Soul Society, and he's one of the most knowledgeable characters in the series. He's a teacher in the Shinju Academy, and has been a Soul Reaper for a very long time. He sees 5 Ryoka attack the Seireitei to save one girl, Rukia Kuchiki, and witnesses the entire Gotei 13 crumble and fall flat on its face. It's actually laughable when you stop to think about it. Aizen kills Central 46 and they're too busy fighting amongst themselves to question what was going on. The Soul Reapers turn on themselves. Kenpachi fights against Sergeant Komamura and Kaname Tosen. Ikaku and Yumichika fight against Lieutenant Iba and Shuhei Hisagi. Momo fights against Izuru Kira. Captain Ukitake and Kyoraku fights against Head Captain Yamamoto. And even former Captain Yoruichi Shihoin fights against her former subordinate Soifan. The Shinigami's teamwork is a joke. They allowed 5 intruders to completely tear them apart. And Aizen, being the smart man that he is, watches and observes. Keep that in mind. Another thing Aizen is closely watching is Ichigo Kurosaki. Now, he's known about Ichigo for a very long time and has been interested in his potential from the very beginning. There is only one person in the entire Soul Society with a realistic chance of defeating Aizen, and that is Ichigo, because he hasn't seen Kyokusui Getsu's Kaizen Simon release. Aizen knows that, and he knows that the Soul Reapers know that. He observes Ichigo break into a new world and fight his way through powerful foes in order to save one girl. So Aizen's just sitting there like, this dude's got a savior complex. It's very obvious. So he takes these bits of information and puts it in his back pocket. It'll come in handy soon enough. He defects from Soul Society and goes to Wakamundo. Now in Wakamundo, we are all preparing for an all-out war against the Shinigami. What can Aizen do to give himself the best chance of defeating the Soul Reapers? Well, he has two bits of information. Number one, the Soul Reapers have terrible teamwork, and if you break them up, you dramatically increase your chances of defeating them. Number two, Ichigo Kurosaki is your only real chance of defeating me. If we neutralize Ichigo, we can neutralize the Soul Society as well. Putting these two bits of information together, Aizen decides to have Ulquiorra abduct one of Ichigo's friends and bring said friend to Wakamundo. So let's answer a few questions about this move. Why would we abduct one of Ichigo's friends, and why Orihime Inoue? Again, these aren't answers I'm making up. These are answers given to us in the canon. You just have to look at it the right way. Because Ichigo has a savior complex, if we abduct one of his friends and bring them here to Wakamundo, he will undoubtedly come here to save them. Okay, cool. Why Orihime? Two reasons. Firstly, Aizen has a genuine interest in Orihime's abilities, and secondly, abducting a woman will make it even more likely that Ichigo will try to save her because that's just the kind of man he is. He has a soft spot for the women in his life. His mother, Rukia, Orihime, his sisters, the man just has a soft spot for his women, okay? Now, take it one step further. Why do we want Ichigo to come to Wakamundo? Kubo feeds you the answer to this question directly. Like, it's literally right in your face. Because Ichigo is the only one who can actually defeat Aizen, Soul Society cannot win without him. And if Ichigo goes to Wakamundo, the home base of the Hollows, Soul Society has to go retrieve their most vital asset. And that is exactly what happens. Soul Society sends in Kenpachi, Unohana, Byakuya, and Mayuri into Wakamundo to go get Ichigo. And what does Aizen do? Aizen seals them in Wakamundo and decreases the fighting power of the Soul Society even further. You have to understand how good of a tactical move this is. There are 13 captains in Soul Society at a time, and before Aizen defected, there was, but 3 captains decide to leave: Aizen, Gin, and Kaname. Now, we've gone from 13 to 10. Okay, cool. Ichigo goes to Wakamundo, and now we have to send 4 captains to go get him. We've gone from 13 to 10 to 6. Somehow, the fighting power of the Soul Society went from 13 to 10 to 6, and it's all because Ichigo went to Wakamundo. So when we compare the Soul Society arc to the Arrancar arc, it's important to differentiate between the two premises. Ichigo wants to enter Soul Society to save Rukia. The point of the arc was Rukia. The arc was meant for her retrieval. But in the Arrancar arc, the point is not to get Orihime out of Wakamundo. The point is to get Ichigo into Wakamundo. It's the yang to the Soul Society's yin. It's the thematic counterpart, where in one, Ichigo is the savior saving the captured, but in the other, Ichigo is the lured captive who needs saving because he was stuck there. It's Aizen using his opponent's weaknesses against them and succeeding in doing so. He got Orihime where he wanted. He got Ichigo where he wanted. And he was able to permanently remove Kenpachi, Byakuya, and Mayuri from the Karakura Town War. Don't you think that those dudes would have made a difference? Kenpachi defeated Noritori's Fracciones in one swing. You don't think Kenpachi is one-shot in Hariba's Fracciones? Kenpachi and Byakuya were toying with Yami. You don't think they could have beaten Ion? You don't think Mayuri Kurotsuchi would have been useful? Aizen knew what he was doing and diminished the fighting strength of his opponents. You know what, sometimes I feel like all we'd have to do is slam on Togashi Yoshihiro in place of Kubo and change Bleach to Bleach X Bleach, and people would be praising the intelligence and tactical aptitude of Sosuke Aizen. But instead, because it's Kubo, we have to call him out on what a terrible writer he is. It's completely ludicrous. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is the road to 15K. Let's go.